On May 14th, 2008, just after midnight, Brandon Swanson of Marshall, Minnesota, United States, crashed his car into a ditch while returning from a celebration of the end of the spring semester with friends from the Canby campus of Minnesota West Community and Technical College. He exited the vehicle unharmed and used his mobile to call his parents. He told them he didn't know where he was, but thought he was near Lind, and they drove out to get him, but couldn't find him. Swanson had said, "Oh shit," and stayed on the phone with them until he went silent 47 minutes later. Since then, no one has seen or heard from him. His parents notified the Lynn police that Brandon was gone at 6:30 in the morning. At first, they were advised that staying out all night following the last day of college classes was not unusual for young guys their age. Annette Swanson remembered one of the policemen saying it was Brandon's right to be missing in particular. The Lynn police did launch a search later that morning, but neither Brandon nor his whereabouts were discovered. They asked Joe Dahl, the sheriff of Leon County, to help them. The sheriff's office got Brandon's cell phone records in order to better target the search, and they showed that Brandon had been making calls from close to Taunton on State Highway 68, a primary road to Canby, northwest of Marshall, 25 miles from Lynn. As they were looking around, deputies came across Brandon's abandoned automobile in a ditch off a gravel road near the Lincoln County line, about a mile north of Highway 68. This led to the involvement of Jack Vizicki, the sheriff of that county. He explained to the media that the Lumina had become stuck on the top of an incline at the edge of the road, but just enough to prevent the wheels from reaching the ground on that side, rather than significantly enough to harm the vehicle. Nothing else was discovered to be wrong with the car, and because of the grass and gravel in the vicinity, there were no tracks and no way to determine in which direction Brandon may have started walking. He made a call on his cell phone from a tower at the junction of County Routes 3 and 10 close to Minnesota, another community along Highway 68. By May 15th, it had been established that the call originated within 5 miles of the tower, and searchers were focusing their attention there. Authorities from Yellow Medicine County to the north participated as it was part of that circle. Swanson spoke to his parents, but it is unknown if he told them about the discrepancy. Although there is still a possibility of foul play, it has also been suggested that he may have inadvertently drowned after falling into the Yellow Medicine River near where his car was discovered. Dog-assisted land searches have been ongoing in the area for a while. His parents were successful in getting Brandon's Law, which mandates the police launch investigations into missing adults right away, passed by the state legislature. Despite her son's last known comments and the fact that one of the dogs passed led to Yellow Medicine, Annette Swanson does not believe he drowned there. The dog followed the scent to the water, then continued up the other side and along the riverbank to another gravel road, where it headed north until it came to a stop at the border of Yellow Medicine County. She told CNN that there was really nothing to suggest that he was in the water, despite any alcohol his son may have consumed earlier in the evening. Ryan Swanson also remembers that he did not appear dizzy or confused throughout their phone chats. And, to this day, Brandon's whereabouts are unknown, leaving it to be known as one of the most disturbing unsolved mysteries.
Elisa Lam, a visitor from Canada, was staying at the Stay on Main Hotel in downtown Los Angeles when her body was discovered there on February 19, 2013. Her parents first reported her missing on February 1st after her last known whereabouts on January 31st. A hotel maintenance worker looking into reports of flooding and low water pressure found her body. The LAPD published a video of Lam's final known sighting, which was captured on January 31st in one of Cecil's elevators on February 13th after another week had passed with no sign of her. In a little over 2.5 minutes of the video, Lam acts strangely by herself. She seems to push every button on the elevator control panel, looks into the hallway, and then occasionally exits the elevator while its doors are still open. She comes back, and when the doors don't close, she goes. They do so later. Due to Lam's peculiar behavior, the video generated considerable analysis and discussion of the situation. It was widely circulated, and in its first 10 days, it received 3 million views and 40,000 comments on the Chinese video sharing website Youku. It disturbed several of the commentators to watch. To explain her conduct, various explanations have surfaced. One of them was that Lam was attempting to maneuver the elevator vehicle so she could flee a person who was pursuing her. Others speculated that she might be using ecstasy or another party drug, but none were found in her system. After her bipolar diagnosis was made public, the idea that she was experiencing a psychotic episode also gained traction. Some viewers contended that the video had been altered before it was released. They asserted that, in addition to the timestamp being obscured, some of the video had been sped up and nearly a minute of it had been cut. It's possible this was done to conceal the name of someone who would otherwise appear in the video, whether or not they were connected to the disappearance. The video became well liked. The cause of Lam's death was not conclusively confirmed by an autopsy performed on February 21st, but the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office ultimately came to the conclusion that bipolar disorder was a key contributing factor and that Lam's death was an accident. Guests at the hotel started to gripe about the weak water pressure while Lam was being sought. Some people afterward said their water was dark in color and tasted strange. The body of Lam was discovered on the morning of February 19th by Santiago Lopez, a hotel maintenance worker, and one of the 4 1,000-gallon tanks that served the hotel's kitchen, coffee shop, and guest rooms. Lam could be seen face up in the water through the open hatch. Since the maintenance hatch was too narrow to fit the tools required to remove Lam's body, the tank was drained and cut open. The Los Angeles Coroner's Office announced on February 21st that the victim had drowned accidentally, with bipolar disorder playing a significant role. Lam's body was discovered naked, and clothing that resembled what she was wearing in the elevator footage was floating in the water, coated with a sand-like particulate, according to the full coroner's report, which was made public in June. She was also discovered with her watch and room key. Lam's body was bloated and slightly decayed. The majority of it was greenish with some marbling and skin separation visible in the abdomen. No signs of physical harm, sexual assault, or suicide were present. Testing for prescription pharmaceuticals found in her possessions as well as over-the-counter medicines, including Cinetab and ibuprofen, were detected. There was only a very minor amount of alcohol and no other recreational substances. The concentration of her prescription pharmaceuticals in her system, according to the investigators and specialists, suggested that she was either taking too little medication or had recently stopped taking it. Guests at the Stay on Main sued the hotel over the incident, and Lam's parents filed a separate suit later that year. The latter was dismissed in 2015, thus leaving the case unsolved to this day.
A Welsh mathematician, Gareth Wynne Williams, a junior analyst for GCHQ assigned to the SIS or MI6, was discovered dead on August 23, 2010, in a suspicious manner at a security service safehouse apartment in Pimlico, London. According to the findings of the inquest, his death was unnatural and likely to have been criminally meditated. Following a second inquiry by the Metropolitan Police, it was determined that Williams' passing was probably an accident. Williams' residence was visited by police on Monday, August 23, 2010, in the late afternoon as part of a welfare check, after coworkers noticed he had not been in touch for a few days. His naked, rotting remains were discovered inside a red bag that was padlocked from the outside. It contained the keys in the bathroom of the men's bedroom and suite. Around 4:40, the cops were able to enter his top-floor apartment. His relatives claimed that fingerprints left at the site were removed as part of a cover-up, and that key DNA was tampered with. On the bag, inconclusive DNA fragments from at least 2 other individuals were discovered. Williams' apartment served as a safe house for the security service, and a forensic investigation found no evidence of forced entry or DNA indicating a third party there at the time of the spy's death. In addition, Scotland Yard's investigation turned up no proof of Williams' prints on the bag's padlock or the bath's rim, which the coroner claimed corroborated her claim of third-party involvement in the death. Martin Hewitt, Deputy Assistant Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, stated that Williams could possibly lower himself inside the bag without hitting the bath's rim. Under his body in the bag was the key to the padlock, following a private funeral service at Bethel Chapel in Holyhead. which was attended by Williams' family, friends, former co-workers in the intelligence service, as well as the head of SIS, Sir John Sawers. Williams was laid to rest at Yin's Wen Cemetery in Valley Angsley on September 26, 2010. The coroner came to the conclusion that Williams' bag had likely been locked in the bathtub by a third party who had also placed it there. Williams was most likely still alive when he was placed in the bag, and the coroner concluded that he most likely passed away quickly from CO2 poisoning or another short-acting toxin. There were no fingerprints on the bag or the bath. The failure of SIS to report Williams missing for 7 days, which added to the pain and suffering of his family and resulted in the destruction of forensic evidence, was criticized by the coroner. Williams' death was ruled not to have been caused by suicide, bondage, or cross-dressing interest, or autoerotic activity by the coroner. She said that he just occasionally visited websites for bondage and that he didn't do it so frequently enough to suggest an ongoing interest. Leaks of cross-dressing were denounced by the coroner as possible examples of media manipulation. The senior investigating officer was not informed of the presence of 9 memory sticks and other property in Williams' SIS office prior to the start of the inquiry, which led to harsh criticism from the coroner of the Metropolitan Police Counterterrorism Command. When interviewing SIS officers, SO-15 neglected to record official remarks. The coroner declared that the police had a right to investigate if any SIS employees may have been responsible for the death. But since then, it has remained an unsolved mystery. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video, and big thank you to Scare Theater for being a part of this. Catch y'all on the flip side.